January 30th, 1943, 11 in the morning, Berlin. Inside the Reich Broadcasting House, Reichsmarshal Hermann Göring prepared to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Nazi power. But before he could speak, the air raid sirens began to howl. Above the German capital, 3 British de Havilland Mosquito bombers, wooden aircraft built from plywood and balsa, were about to humiliate the second most powerful man in Nazi Germany. At over 400 miles per hour, they streaked past every German fighter and dropped their bombs precisely at 11, cutting Göring's speech mid-broadcast. For Göring, commander of the Luftwaffe, it was a personal and national humiliation. The enemy had struck Berlin in daylight, on the Reich's most sacred date, with wooden airplanes. His old boast, "No enemy bomber can reach the Ruhr. If one does, you may call me Meyer," now echoed in mockery across Germany. The Mosquito's success became Göring's obsession, igniting a desperate and ruinous attempt to copy what Nazi engineers had declared impossible: a wooden aircraft that outperformed every metal machine in the Reich's arsenal. The de Havilland Mosquito had been conceived in 1938 by Geoffrey de Havilland, who believed speed and altitude could be better protection than armor or guns. The Air Ministry laughed at the idea, yet de Havilland knew Britain's strength lay in skilled woodworkers, not in endless aluminum supplies. Furniture factories, piano makers, and boat builders could not forge metal, but they could shape wood. And wood was plentiful. By 1940, his prototype, the DH-98, took to the skies. It was light, fast, and astonishingly strong. Its construction was revolutionary. Layers of birch plywood and Ecuadorian balsa bonded with casein adhesive formed a composite shell that was lighter than aluminum yet just as strong. The result was an aircraft that could climb higher, fly faster, and carry more than anything Germany possessed. With 2 Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, the Mosquito exceeded 400 miles per hour and handled like a fighter despite carrying bombs. German analysts refused to believe the performance reports, calling them British propaganda, until Mosquitoes began flying over Germany at will. By 1942, the Mosquito had become the most versatile aircraft in the war. It served as a bomber, fighter, reconnaissance plane, and night interceptor. It photographed targets deep inside Germany, bombed Gestapo headquarters with pinpoint accuracy, and even destroyed record archives in Oslo. Its loss rate was under 1%, unheard of in wartime aviation. Wooden, unarmored, and unarmed, it became the most feared aircraft in the Luftwaffe's sky. Göring could not accept that British engineers, whom Nazi ideology dismissed as inferior, had outclassed Germany's best metal machines. In March 1943, at his hunting estate, Göring summoned Germany's top aviation minds. Furious, he shouted, "I am green and yellow with envy. The Englishman, who has more aluminum than we do, builds a wooden plane faster than anything we have." His demand was clear: build a German Mosquito, whatever it takes. The task fell to Kurt Tank of Focke-Wulf, one of Germany's most brilliant designers. The result would be the Ta-154, nicknamed the German Mosquito. It promised 440 Metertragismus, a 37,000-foot ceiling, and devastating firepower. Early test flights showed promise. The prototypes were fast, sleek, and agile. Göring was elated. Orders were placed for mass production. But the problems began immediately. The chosen engines, Junkers Jumo 203s, were in short supply. Airframes had to settle for underpowered engines. The wood itself was heavier and less consistent than the British birch and balsa. Then came catastrophe. In May 1943, the Royal Air Force bombed Wuppertal and destroyed the only factory that produced Tego film, the special adhesive that held the Ta-154's wooden structure together. Germany substituted an inferior glue from Dynamit Nobel AG. It reacted chemically with the wood, weakening it from within. Test aircraft began disintegrating mid-flight. wings snapped off in the air. By August 1944, the Ta-154 program was dead. Only about 50 aircraft were completed, none capable of matching the Mosquito's performance. The irony was cruel. The British Mosquito had literally destroyed the one factory, making the glue needed for its German copy. But even without that bombing, the project was doomed. Germany lacked the global supply chains Britain used for balsa and birch. Its adhesives were primitive. Its furniture industry couldn't easily transition to precision aircraft work. Retraining workers and retooling factories during wartime was impossible. And Germany's industrial base, already collapsing under Allied bombing and material shortages, couldn't sustain another complex program. The Mosquito succeeded because it fit Britain's industrial strengths: wood, craftsmanship, distributed production, and adaptable workforce. The Ta-154 failed because it tried to imitate something Germany could never realistically build. By 1944, the Luftwaffe's wooden wonder was grounded, while the real Mosquito ruled Europe's skies. German pilots reported chasing targets that simply vanished. The British aircraft climbed faster and flew higher than any interceptor. Each Mosquito sortie humiliated Göring further, a daily reminder of technological and ideological defeat. British crews, meanwhile, adored their aircraft. They called it forgiving, fast, and beautiful. It could outrun anything, carry a 4,000-pound bomb, and fly missions from daylight raids over Berlin to night interceptions of V-1 flying bombs. Its versatility was unmatched. By war's end, over 7,700 Mosquitoes had been built in Britain, Canada, and Australia, serving in 42 variants: bombers, fighters, photoplanes, trainers, and pathfinders. Loss rates stayed under 2%. The Ta-154, meanwhile, produced barely 70 units. None made an impact. Most were destroyed on the ground, abandoned, or scrapped. Its failure revealed the deeper truth of the war: that Nazi Germany's belief in racial and technological superiority blinded it to its own weaknesses. Göring's obsession wasted resources that could have gone into jet programs like the Me-262, where Germany actually held a lead. Instead, pride and envy drove an impossible imitation. Post-war engineers studied the Ta-154 as a lesson in failure. Proof that copying an enemy's design without understanding its context guarantees disaster. The Mosquito's legacy, by contrast, reshaped aviation. Its composite construction foreshadowed carbon fiber technology. Its multi-role design inspired generations of modern aircraft. It proved that innovation isn't about exotic materials or ideological purity. It's about using what you have to its fullest. Geoffrey de Havilland built his masterpiece not from privilege, but from pragmatism. He understood Britain's industrial DNA and designed accordingly. Göring never did. His envy turned into ruin, his pride into humiliation. The Mosquito flew over Berlin in triumph, and Germany's attempt to copy it collapsed from within. Literally, as its glue dissolved its wooden bones. By the end of the war, the wooden wonder had flown over 15,000 combat missions and remained in production until 1950. It outperformed every German counterpart in every category: speed, altitude, versatility, and survivability. The Luftwaffe's dream of a German Mosquito never left the prototype stage. Göring's rage had sparked one of the most wasteful programs in Nazi aviation, a monument to misunderstanding. In the skies over Europe, the lesson was clear. True innovation isn't built on envy. It's built on understanding your strengths. The British did, the Germans didn't, and that made all the difference.